Look, I could use this as a band. Ow.
Howdy, folks. We'll get started in about 5 minutes. All you need today is maybe a set of dumbbells. If you only have one, that's fine. Light is cool too. If you have a little heavier set, that's fine. A band, if you have any bands. If you don't have bands, don't worry about it. We got you covered. And then that's really it. If you have a PVC or something like that, that'd be great for the last little piece, but that's all you really need for today. Bands, dumbbells, maybe a PVC or something, and we'll get started in about 5 minutes. Don't worry, this is almost completely upper body and abs, so it's seated friendly, so you're basically going to be doing the exact same thing they are. I think there's...
Hey, can you hear me? I never know if you can hear me on this thing.
Yep, can hear you.
I'm back at my apartment. It's not at my dad's, so I only have 3-pound weights right now. Don't make fun of me.
It's fine.
It's not the 15 we were up to, but it will do.
No. So today is not about heaviness. This is going to be some shoulder and elbow joint health and hypertrophy stuff. And if you have a band or something, great. If not, then I'll show some variations on what we're going to do. They're pretty much the same thing.
Okay. Cool. Sounds good.
Cool. And then first half, I'm going to be in my chair. Second half, I'm going to be on the ground. So if that helps you out at all.
Well, I do floor or chair, which is easier. I mean, not easier.
The first half, stay in your chair. And then the second half, definitely easier to get on the ground.
Okay. So you'll tell me when to move.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, we can do it out here then. I'm just going to put some shoes on. for this one if I want to do. A1A? You want to do on the beach? Oh, right. I forgot. Come this weekend. I want to find out if they close off A1A. What? Oh, crazy. Well then I guess I don't have to give them their donation. Take that shit back. So I'm having weights.
Howdy, folks. Again, we'll get started in a couple minutes here, let people trickle in. Today, you don't need anything super heavy. If you want something super heavy, there's some places you could throw it in there, but not necessary. Really just need a light set of dumbbells. A band would be helpful. PVC would also be helpful. For those of you guys that are already here, go ahead and do me a favor. I want to start doing pump sesh class starting like this. Just spend 2 minutes of moving. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's stretching. I don't care if it's, you know, Andrea, I see you biking. That's great. Just 2 minutes. For the next 2 minutes, just move and try to get some blood flow going. Little bit of a sweat. Don't really care what it is. Don't crush yourself doing it. Stretching's fine. I just want things warm before we get into stuff.
Wait, tell me minutes up.
What's up? Yeah, I'll tell you when 2 minutes is up.
In different rooms to do something.
Oh, I'll be loud. Don't you worry. I've never been accused of being quiet. I'm warming myself up by drinking coffee. That works. That gets some blood flow going. Anyone that tells you that coffee isn't a warm up is either lying to you or trying to sell you something. Drinking out of my wife's Wonder Woman mug. Don't tell her. It's a secret. Got like another 30, 40 seconds of just moving, guys. When we're done with this, we're gonna bring it in and kind of chat real quick before we get started. Janet and Kat, are you guys related, or is there just a really weird coincidence?
That's my mom.
Gotcha. I was like, that's gonna be really strange. I hope I bet they're related.
But she's in Toronto and I'm here in Collingwood.
Oh,
But she's been through all of Steph's teen class and stuff.
Yeah. Why would you ever go to someplace like Toronto when you can live away from people in Collingwood? I'm just asking. Like, this is a real question.
My ex-boyfriend lives there. Don't say that. There are creeps there.
And where?
Collingwood.
Oh.
I could live in Collingwood, but I went to university in Toronto, and I'm a fashion designer. So,
All right, fine. I'll take your reasons. Guys, let's come on in here. We're going to chat about what we're going to do today. First and foremost, this is going to be basically an upper body and ab pump sesh this week. I've been playing around with some stuff for abs all week. If you haven't done one of these before, you're going to find that we do abs a little differently. I don't think people train their abs right. I think they missed the boat on how the abs are supposed to function and what they're really trying to get out of ab work. So when we get to that part, I'll explain a little bit more what that means. The first part's upper body, and it's going to look like we're doing a lot of pressing, but really the first part of this is all about getting the back of our body involved in pressing. So if you're feeling it a lot through here, we're missing the boat somewhere. We need to change what you're doing. It should feel a lot into your back, like back of shoulder, almost into lat a little bit, even though we are pressing. So let's take a look. I don't know if you guys can see my whiteboard. I switched to my giant desktop screen, so this is about as close as I can get it. Don't worry if you can't read it. I'll type it in there what we're going to do each time. So we're going to start with it's going to be 5 rounds, but it's going to be quick 5 rounds. All right. We're going to do Arnold presses, my style of Arnold presses. I know a lot of people do Arnold presses just rotation. I don't like that. I don't think it does what it's really supposed to do. We're going to do some extended rotation Arnold presses. Something I call Smush Press, which is basically just taking something and pressing here. It's very, very limited range of motion. And then my version is Zachman Curls. All this is going to be really good for your shoulder and your elbow. So if you have any like shoulder problems or like elbow bugging you, this should help clear a lot of that up. I know this looks like some bodybuilding stuff, but in all honesty, this is all physical therapy. This is stuff that me and my physical therapist chat about all the time. We're going to rest about 30 seconds in between each round so we can get through it pretty quickly. Once we get through the hypertrophy and joint health stuff, we're going to go into some blood pump stuff. The whole point of this blood pump stuff is to be fast and to get a lot of blood into your joints. That's literally it. All things else are secondary. We're going to do some banded floor press. We're going to do some banded pull aparts, and we're going to do some banded curls. You're going to feel like your shoulders, your chest, and your arms are like just super, like you ever hear people say like they just feel swollen when they leave the gym. This is what we're going to feel like after this. The whole point of flooding your muscle with blood is it helps recover. It helps re-knit things. It's just really good practice. When we get through with that, and that's 100, and AFSAP, if you can see the board, stands for as few sets as possible, meaning if you can do 100 in a row, do 100 in a row. Now, I doubt you're going to be able to do 100 in a row. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe you're a monster. Every single time you break one, you switch to the next. So if you're doing a banded floor press and you're at 50, you're going to switch to banded pull aparts. And then when you break those, you're going to switch to banded curls. And we're just going to keep cycling through until you have 100 of each. It shouldn't, like, it really shouldn't be more than like 2 or 3 sets. I'm like, this is really just meant to like be high rep, really quick, really fast. Like our range of motion is important. Yes, we do want some good range of motion there, but we want it to be fast. That's the first thing we're looking for. Okay. Once we finish that, we're going to do some ab strength. Again, you guys are going to kind of see I play this a little differently. We're going to do some heavy weighted sit-ups. I mean, as heavy as we can get for what you guys have. If you don't have anything that's super, super heavy, we'll start playing around with some overhead stuff to make the lighter weight feel heavier. The whole purpose of this is to get basically like 6 reps of a sit-up. Those 6 reps should feel hard, okay? They shouldn't just be like, oh, I just did 6 sit-ups. Like, you should not like me for what they are. Haley, for you, same thing. But for us, as seated athletes, the less weight we use, the harder they get. So the heavier you get, the easier it's going to be because we kind of count on that momentum for those sit-ups. If you don't have an ab mat, I forgot about this one. If you don't have an ab mat, grab like a hoodie or something, and we're going to use that for an ab mat, and I'll talk you through how to do that. For those of you guys who have leg function, you guys are going to do then dumbbell foot holds in and out. So you're going to hold something on your feet, whether it be a dumbbell or whatever. You're going to sit on your butt, and you're going to put your legs out and pull them back in. And it should be heavy enough that 6 reps of that doesn't feel good. All right, and we're going to do 1 minute rest after that. We're going to do that 3 times. Then we're going to play around with some isometrics. So I think the two big things people miss is they don't train low rep heavyweight abs enough, which is what we ask it to do on a daily basis. I mean, no one does like, nowhere in life have I seen the capacity to do 200 sit-ups really play out in real life. You know, no one like gets in and out of bed 200 times in a row. You got out of bed one time, maybe twice because it's quarantine. So heavy first, and then isometrics with something else dynamic. So we're going to do some seated kayaks, which is back and forth. So we're trying to keep something isometrically held while doing dynamic movement, and then reacher holds. Reacher holds are pretty simple. You lay on your back, you grab something, you put it over your head, and you try to reach as far towards the ceiling as you possibly can without getting your hip flexors involved, so we're not actually sitting up, and hold it there. So that's what we're looking at. And if you guys are confused about what this looks like, don't worry. I'm doing it with you guys, so you guys will be able to see what I'm doing, okay? Any questions, comments, or concerns? I'm going to unmute everyone. If you don't want to be unmuted, then you don't have to unmute yourself. Any injuries, anything going on, anything super sore from this week that, or last week really, that I need to know about? No? Everyone feeling pretty good?
I don't have a band or anything.
Cool. When we get to that part, when we're going to use bands, I'll show you different variations. Going to be very similar. A very shortened range of motion, but get a very similar stimulus. You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I don't have a band and a dumbbell, so I'll have my weighted vest for some of it, but that's it.
Yeah, like honestly, you really just have to have something to move. If you have a weighted vest, Janet, I think you used last time for the snatches or overhead squats or whatever it was. It's perfectly fine for this, and you'll see what I mean.
The weighted vest is my best friend right now.
Yeah, it absolutely is, and it'll be just fine for this when you guys see what we're about to do. Okay. No other questions. I'm gonna meet you guys. I'm gonna start turning my screen so you guys can see what I'm doing, and then we'll get started with each one. While we're doing this first part, if you have questions, again, I have this giant screen. It's great. I think it's like a 40-inch desktop screen. It's amazing. I can actually see every bit of this. Throw it in the chat and I'll be able to see it. So this first part, guys, is Arnold Press, Smush Press, and Zachman Curls. Now, on the Arnold Press, here's the big thing. We're trying to get the back of the shoulder involved in pressing. And so if you don't rotate enough, it's not going to do much good for you. So here's how this works. If you guys kind of watch, dumbbells in hand, pinky side of the dumbbell together and underneath my chin starting out, okay? From here, you're going to squeeze your shoulder blades together and rotate your hands so then you end up here, and then you press up overhead. Big thing is don't make it two movements. So even though I just did it that way, what we're trying to do is squeeze back, press. All right, and you should feel like the back of your shoulder is getting more involved in your press than you're used to. Janet, on this, if you want to do it one arm at a time and use that weight vest to do it, if it's not too heavy for just some single arm pressing, just do 5 per side. All right, the next one is called a Smush Press. All right, this is what I call them. I don't know if they actually have a name. I've never ever seen anyone else do them besides me. If you want to do them without anything, that's fine. The big things here are that you're pressing in on your palms and you're pressing in on your elbows, so they don't come apart. Now, if you watch me real quick, you're going to notice that I don't really move that far. It's just here and back down. What I'm really trying to do is press together hard and then press up. And what you're going to find if you keep your elbows together and really think about smushing whatever you have in between your hands together, it becomes pretty hard and you start to feel it more in your back than you do in your chest. Now, if you want to make them a little bit harder and you have something, you can actually take dumbbells, put the dumbbells together and do them this way. But same things apply. I'm still pressing in really hard on something. Kat, that's great. That was a great idea. So she took a book, or I don't even know what it really was, and just put it in between her hands and press that together. That's fine. If you need that tactile feedback of pressing in on something beside your hands, awesome. Finally, the Zachman Curls. Here's where I'm going to tilt the screen down so you can see it. It's kind of like, it's a pretty cool dance move. It's also really good for your elbows. To do these the way I like to do them and the way I think they're most beneficial, if you have a dumbbell or something you can curl, what you're going to do is basically let the dumbbell head hang to the outside, like it's trying to turn your hand to the outside, and you're going to curl up, basically trying to get the pinky side dumbbell to your chest. Then you're going to rotate it around and let this head of the dumbbell pull your hand in as it goes down. So out on the way out, in on the way in. Janet, if you have, instead of the vest on this, I don't know if it's going to work really well with the vest. You could try it. If you just have like some kind of object that has any weight to it at all, and you can kind of hang it off your hand, that'll work. You can try the vest, give it a shot. Trying to think of options inside of house. Like even a broomstick would work. It'd be a little clunky, but do you have like even in the kitchen, like a mallet or like anything like that would work? Maybe what we're really trying to get to is that there's a counterweight to the outside of our hand. That's really the whole point of this, is that something is forcing our hand to rotate out and something is forcing our hand to rotate in while our elbow is pinned at our side. Okay, so it doesn't have to be like super heavy, but it has to be enough weight that you can kind of feel it. Now, here's what I will say. Janet, do you have like a stick or something you can use? Because what you can actually do is use your opposite hand, I'm not super flexible, as that pressure. So you come down and you grab the stick and you pull your hand out as you pull up, and then you push your hand in as you drive in. That'll work just fine, okay? So you're gonna do 10 Arnold presses, 10 Smush presses, 10 Zachman curls, 5 per side, all right? So 5 curls per side. And then you're gonna rest for 30 seconds. We're gonna do that 5 times. Any questions on that? Solid. All right, we're gonna get this party started. Kat, I expect you to read those books while we're doing this. Exercise your brain as well as, you know, the arms. No? Okay. All right, guys, we're gonna start this party in 10 seconds. Should be quick rounds, 10, 10, 10, then we're gonna rest 30 seconds. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1, and go. Really make sure you're rotating out and pressing up. Almost trying to squeeze those shoulders together like you're trying to pull the dumbbells back behind your head before you press up. Finish those. And you're gonna grab your dumbbells, whatever you have, heads together, or hands together, and 10 smush presses. Don't let those elbows come apart. Good. Keep those elbows touching, then you're gonna finish off with those Zachman curls. Let that head lean out and come back in. Switch arms, out, back in. Should feel like that dumbbell's trying to twist your arm more than you want it to. So on the way out, really let that outside head hang. Like if you're almost trying to point that thumb towards the ground by twisting out. Good. When you finish 10 of those, go ahead and rest. Yeah. Good. And that dumbbell having the Zachman curls, like if you aren't feeling it, twist your arm. Go ahead and use your opposite arm to give a little extra on there. If you do 5 on one side and 5 on the other, that's fine. Don't care. We're just trying to get that. What we're really trying to do is that we have the 2 bones in the upper arm, or the lower arm, sorry, radius and ulna. And if those things get sticky because our grip gets tight, or bicep or tricep gets tight, they don't rotate and slide and glide the way they're supposed to. So this forces them to slide and glide that way, makes it feel a little bit better. Got about 10 seconds, guys. Second round in 3, 2, 1, and go. Really let them rock out and press up. You should be feeling this more in the back of the shoulder than the front. So you're starting to feel it in the front more. Really think about squeezing those shoulder blades together. Finish those, go straight into your smush presses. So yeah, so when you do, if you're gonna do them with dumbbells, put the heads together. Yeah, and then just kind of push it in here. Finish those, go straight into your Zachman curls. Let them hang out. Keep that elbow pinned to your body and let that dumbbell really rotate the arm more than it wants to. These Zachman curls, they're cool because they're one of the things you can do with lightweight and get effect out of them, but they're also something you can do with super heavyweight and it actually does just as much good because it actually allows us to force change in that shoulder. Or not shoulder, sorry, elbow. Andrea, on the way down, just let that dumbbell really pull that head in. Yeah. It's gonna feel super awkward. It's gonna wanna wing your elbow out. Don't let it. Good, guys. We've got 10 seconds and we're gonna go for that next round, round 3. Back to those Arnold presses in 3, 2, 1, and go. There you go. All the way down below the chin. Swing them out, press them up. Right into those mush presses. I'm gonna watch them. Good. Should really feel like it's tugging on your back a little bit, almost trying to wrap your body around. Keep those elbows together, and as far as you can reach up, great. And straighten those Zachman curls. Good, guys. I was running around 3. We're gonna take 30 seconds and then 2 more rounds of that. Hmm? 10 seconds, guys. Round 4. Start with the Arnold presses in 3, 2, 1, and go. Straight into the Smush presses. And then finish off with those Zachman curls. Good. Quick thinking must run in the family. We have a vase And I think a cleaner. Well done, Meesters. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Boom. Yeah, about 20 seconds before we go last round. You should start feeling like you have a little bit more movement in those elbows. I mean, generally when I do these, my elbows feel a ton better almost immediately. Of course, I have sticky elbows from years of sports. All right, guys, here we go. 3, 2, 1, last round. Right into your smush presses. Good, elbows together, really squeezing everything together. Finish off with those Zachman curls. Let it pull out, let it pull in. Solid. Once you guys finish that, that is the end to this first part. Go ahead and take your time to finish it. We're going to go ahead and grab a drink of water, whatever you need for a second. Right now would be a good time to get a band. Haley, if you want to hop on the ground for this next part, that'd be great. Bands, super small dumbbells would be what I would advise if you don't have a band. If you don't have either of those, you can do these really with almost nothing or anything. I'll explain that when I start showing you guys what's going on. You're gonna see me turn the screen a little bit so you can see my mat. I'm gonna hop on the ground with you guys. This next part should be quick. Shouldn't take a ton of time. You guys can see my setup on the ground. I have a plate. You guys don't necessarily need it. I'm going to use that for the reachers. I'm going to use a training bar, so 15 pounds for the kayak things, and then my bands for everything else. So this first part, everyone still hear me with my microphone? Thumbs up if you can still hear me. Cool, cool. All right. So this first part, it's all about moving fast, or I guess this whole part's about moving fast. This first one is called a floor press. So basically on your back, you're going to try to touch your elbows to the ground and then lock out your elbows quickly. It's like a really shortened range of motion of a bench press. If you have a band, great. If not, you just need something that weighs something very, very light. I'm going to use this here band. If you have a band like this, you can wrap it around. I'm going to put it across my back. I'm going to lay down on it. Show you guys what these floor presses look like. So I'm here, the band's here, and I'm just touching my elbows and locking out really quickly. The next one is a bandy pull apart. Now, if you guys can see my hands, that'd be really great. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this band towards the end. Yeah, Andrew, you got it. Here's my thing about these. Most people start to pull and they start to round their shoulders up as they go. What I want you to do is grab those ends, point your thumbs towards the ceiling, and then do your pull aparts. See how that kind of keeps your shoulder down a little bit? If you don't have a band, here's what I want you to do. We're going to do these a little differently. You're going to flip over onto your stomach, lay arms straight out, and you're just going to lift your hands up off the ground. All right. So if you don't have a band on stomach, we're just gonna pop off the ground, trying to pull away from the ground as best you can. On those, same thing, think about trying to think thumbs to ceiling. When you finish those bandy curls, just gonna take a band. We're just gonna go from a lockout position and we're just gonna curl. Again, moving fast, more concerned with moving fast than I am about like super like sure range of motion there. So with the bands, you guys can stand up, stand on it, and curls. If you don't have a band, grabbing something really light, same range of motion, same thing we're looking for, is just really fast. Now you're gonna do 100 of each of these. Every time you break, you're gonna switch to the next one. So start with the chest press, or the floor press. When you break on there, do the pull aparts. When you break there, do the curls. You're gonna keep cycling through till you have 100. Any questions there? All right, get whatever band you want to on this. We're gonna start this party. All right, boom, boom, boom. All right, here we go on the backs, starting with the floor press. In 3, 2, 1, and go. And when you break, switch to the next one. Tap those elbows to the ground and drive up quick, 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 quick. Nice, guys. Quick on those curls too, guys. Huh? Yep. And keep cycling through. Fast, 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 guys. Let those elbows go straight on the curls, but really go fast on them. That's what we're looking for. Good, guys, good. Should feel like everything's just blowing up. Whoa. And keep cycling, keep cycling. Haley, on those, like lay down on your stomach and then try to lift your arms off the ground. It works a little bit better than just trying to hold weights out. So flip over on that stomach. So if you flip over and just do this. And keep moving till you have 100 of each, guys. Andrew, you're feeling it. Yeah. Feel super pumped after this. Keep going till you finish, guys. Come on, 100, 100, 100. Once you finish, grab a drink, relax. We're switching to abs next. Okay, stay on the ground. I'm getting up because I forgot to grab something before I sat down. Finish it, guys. Finish it. Yeah, how slow? Why don't you go faster? Guys, if you have an iMac, that's great. If not, grab a sweatshirt or a hoodie. All right. All right, guys, this next part, got some abs to do. So this first part again, where I think people train abs wrong is that they do a million reps of things like 100 ab mat sit-ups, 100 GHG sit-ups, a whole bunch of stuff. Like I said, like you don't get up out of bed 100 times in a row. Same thing, like you wouldn't train for a 100-meter sprint by running a marathon. It doesn't make any sense. And since most of our life we utilize smaller sets but stronger contractions to do things, that's what we're going to try to train here with this. So this should be decently difficult to do. So whatever you have that makes it difficult to do, let's do that. The first part is just going to be 6 weighted sit-ups. Now with the weighted sit-ups, you can hold it at your chest. If you want to make it harder, you can hold it overhead. So like you end up here, start here, end up here. Whatever it is that's going to make it hard for you to do 6 reps, grab that. Or as hard as you can with what you got, okay? This shouldn't be like a super easy 6 though. Now, one thing I like to do is add an ab mat to it. If you don't have an ab mat, the only purpose of this ab mat is to take away the space between your low back and the ground. So if you have like a sweatshirt, fold it and then like kind of fold it a few times so it takes away that same space. You can do the exact same thing. And all it's going to do is just going to put it at the edge of your butt. That way when you lay down, it takes up that space. Where are your brakes? Okay, so from there, you're gonna take and do that weighted sit-up. Now, Haley, we're a little different because of we use momentum to sit up. So the lighter we go on these, the harder they are. So this is a 15-pound dumbbell. If I come overhead and then use up momentum to sit up, it's not that hard for me to sit up. But if I come back and I use this 8-pound dumbbell, that's much harder for me to do. Okay, so figure out what you have. Like if you can do it with those 3-pound weights, like good on you. Like that's impressive. You're just gonna do 6 reps there. When you finish those 6 reps there, what you guys are gonna do is you're gonna sit up tall. You're gonna take whatever you have. You're gonna pick your feet up off the ground and you're gonna put that either in between your feet. So if it's a dumbbell, hold the dumbbell. And you're gonna straighten your legs and pull them back in off the ground 6 times. Haley, we're gonna do a little differently. You're gonna take whatever you have that's as heavy as you can get, and you're gonna try to hold it out in front of you, and then bring it back in 6 times, all right? So this is 15 pounds. It's plenty to challenge me. So go with how you feel there. So 6 and 6. We're gonna rest 30 seconds to a minute between each round. We're gonna do that 3 times. Any questions there? No? Everyone looks super pumped. Remember, I have a giant screen here. I can see all your facial expressions, even from this far away. Don't give me that sass, cat. I can see it. All right, here we go, guys. We're gonna start with those 6 sit-ups. So whatever you have that's gonna be hard. Here we go, 3, 2, 1, and go. When you finish those 6, go into those in and outs. If you want to pause for a second on the out and bring it back in, that's going to make it a little bit harder. And then rest. If those sit-ups are like, man, those felt really easy, well, good for you. Your legs work. Also, go heavier. Still resting for a little bit, guys. I don't know if you guys witnessed my sit-ups or how difficult I made them look, but that's about as hard as we want them to look. It shouldn't be something where you're like bang, 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 bang. Like I actually had to think and have a concentrated effort on each sit-up. That's how heavy I want these to be, or hard. So figure out a way to make them a little more difficult. If you're like, man, these are still really easy and this is as heavy as I got, go butterfly, so bottom of feet together, and get your hip flexors out of it. That'll make it a ton harder. All right, guys, second set of 3, here we go. 3, 2, 1, and go. And then straighten those in and outs. Keep those feet off the ground, reach them out, reach them in. Good, and then rest. Now the fun part about this kind of ab work is that it's not gonna feel like the other kind of ab work. It's not gonna feel like we just did 100 sit-ups. In fact, you're gonna be like, man, I don't feel like I really did much until 2 days later when everything's super sore. In which case, told you so. One more set here, guys. We're gonna go in like 15 seconds. Last set in 5, 3, 2, 1, and go. Nice, guys. Finish that last round. In and out. And relax. It is. Guys, break for a second. I'm going to switch out the equipment that I have. This next part, you just need something to hold overhead that's decently heavy. A weight vest, a small human, a large human. Go with how you feel. And then a PVC. So for these, the first thing is a kayak. So you're gonna find something that you can hold across your body. Your legs are gonna come off the ground and then you're gonna touch behind you, switch and touch behind you. And you're trying to keep your legs off the ground and switch back and forth. And you're gonna do 15 reps there. Okay? 15 reps there. So all we're trying to do is brace the abs really hard and then have a dynamic, kind of a dynamic shoulder. So we're trying to keep this as tight as possible and allow our shoulders to do the movement. 1, rotation is good for our spine. 2, isometric contraction is the strongest contraction you can create from an abs perspective. And so that's what we're gonna do there. The next one is going to be what I call reachers. So you're gonna get a weight, whatever it is. You're gonna lay down on your back. This is gonna go up towards the ceiling. And you're gonna try to reach and hold your shoulders off the ground. And then come back down. Now, it should be heavy enough that 20 seconds of staying in that position is difficult. I don't want you guys to go like holding it for as long as you can, up to 20 seconds. If what you have is not super heavy and you can kind of keep those shoulders off the ground for that 20-second period super easily, try picking your feet off the ground. Almost creates a hollow position, and keep those legs straight. So think about trying to reach your toes away from you and reach off the ground. It's kind of a different hollow position, kind of a loaded hollow position, but the main thing is we're trying to reach that weight towards the ceiling as high as we can and hold it and maintain that contraction, that maximal contraction isometrically for at least 20, for at most 20 seconds. And so we're gonna do 3 rounds of that. There's not gonna be a break in between. So you're gonna do 15 kayaks, then up to a 20-second reacher, and you're gonna do that 3 times. Any questions on it? Yeah, you have to unmute, I can't hear you. So I'm guessing you're asking like what to use for that. Do you have like a broomstick or something? So what I want you to do is just open, like just bare hands, try to touch behind your hips. Yeah. And to make it, if you want to make it a little more difficult, think about trying to like sink down into it and reach back as far as you can. All right, 15 of those. And then a 20-second reach. No rest in between, 3 rounds. All right, let's party. Here we go, guys. We're gonna start in 3, 2, 1, and go. Get those 15, grab the weight you have, up overhead, and reach. Round 1, kind of count in your head for those 20 seconds if you need to. Quick transition between the two. One more round. All right, finish that third round. That's gonna be all she wrote for the abs. Guys, breathe, relax, grab a drink if you need to. All we're gonna do next, the last thing we're gonna do before I cut you guys loose, is just kind of stretch and try to regain some range of motion. So the first one is just gonna, it's kind of like a little mini Ramwad here. Just trying to get things stretched back out from what we just did. The first one is just gonna be a puppy pose. So hips over heels, or over knees, sorry. Hips over knees and arms straight out, and just gonna let that back kind of collapse in, not really collapse in, but sink into in between your arms. So hey, if you wanna give this one a shot, I do this one all the time. It's actually one of my favorites for my shoulders. So if you flip over onto your stomach, I'll come so I can watch these. We're gonna sit there for just a minute, hang out there for a minute, try to deep breath in, deep breath out to regain that. Yeah, it takes some balance, Haley. It takes some work, but it's cool for you. If you sit back a little farther on your heels, Haley, maybe a little easier. Yeah. And then guys, go ahead and relax out of that one. And if you just kind of sit on your butt if you want to, I don't care where like you sit. We're gonna do eagle. I'm the most inflexible this one there is, but you're basically gonna wrap your arms around themselves and try to grab them. If you guys wanna look at Kat, she's much better at this. Yeah, you can grab, if it's too tight there, just grab and pull across. We're gonna do about a minute per side. Just getting that stretch in. And just keep breathing through this. And just kind of regaining the range of motion we just put a bunch of blood into. About another 10 seconds. Go ahead and switch sides. True story. When we have yoga here at Watchtower, the lady who ran yoga used to know that I hated eagle because I was so bad at it, and it was I looked funny doing it. That she would put that pose in every single flow that she did here on purpose, just to make sure she could make fun of me. Now I probably deserved it for making fun of everyone else, but you know I didn't think it was very nice. That was funny though. About 20 seconds, guys. And relax. Last thing you guys are going to do is flip over onto your stomach and try to stretch those abs out a little bit. We're just going to get into an upward facing dog for a minute. That's a sideways facing cat. That's not an upward facing dog. And just kind of let those abs relax and let them stretch out a bit. We're just going to hang out here for a minute. Guys, about 15 seconds. Letting those abs relax, breathe in. And relax. Guys, you should feel pretty good. Your abs are probably going to be sore if you're not used to training your abs that way, and then maybe a day or so. If not, good for you. Maybe you train your abs correctly. I'm going to unmute you guys. Any questions, comments, or concerns about any of this stuff, guys?
No, that was good. We'll let you know in 2 days.
Yeah, I'll let you know. So guys, this stuff should make you feel pretty good right now. If you, and I've told this to a couple people who are pretty consistent in this class, if this makes you super sore in a certain region, what that tells me as kind of a coach or like someone thinking about the mechanics of the system is that you are lacking in that area. So like when we do the hamstring stuff, a lot of people have really sore hamstrings the first like 3 or 4 times they do hamstrings with me. It's probably because you don't pay enough time to your hamstrings. If the back of your shoulders are super sore, or if the middle of your back is super sore after this, probably means we need to do a little bit more posterior shoulder work because there's something there that's just not getting worked, and it's getting worked for the first time in a very long time. I know for me, like doing this stuff afterwards, is the joke around the gym is that this is what we call sexy PT. So it is going to kind of make these joints a little bit more bulletproof. So you should have less elbow pain. You should have less shoulder pain. If it increases it in any way, if it causes any problems anyway, don't hesitate to reach out to me because we have something there that we need to talk about that's beyond what we'll call normal or healthy. All right. Haley, these are really super awesome for you to do specifically just to kind of keep your shoulders healthy as a seated athlete. It gets commented on a lot that I sit like with pretty good posture, and I don't have the atypical like been in a wheelchair for almost a decade posture, which is this one. And it's specifically because I do stuff like this on a weekly basis.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I like this question.
Yeah.
Wait, you're doing the 330?
Yeah.
Okay, my arms are really sore because I did a ton of push-ups yesterday.
Yeah.
Like that would be stupid to do this and then the 330.
I wouldn't say stupid. I would say non-beneficial.
Okay, I just needed the confirmation because I'm crazy and I would be like, I'll do it, but then
yeah, that's the problem with most people, most wheelies that we work with is that it's like I can do it. The question is, is doing the workout at 3:30 gonna be beneficial to your fitness enough that the potential of wrecking your shoulders for 4 or 5 days and knocking you out of training for 4 or 5 days is really worth it? And I would say no. Especially for today's workout, just knowing what it is. So today's workout's kind of a shoulder blaster. So if you haven't done it yet and you plan on doing it, good luck. All right, guys. If there are no other questions, see you same bat time, same bat channel. One quick note for anyone that does any of the mobility classes with my wife. Unfortunately, we're going to have to move it to Thursday at 3:30 instead of Wednesday at 3:30 this week. So if you want to check out her mobility class, it's at 3:30 on, I think it's going to be 5:30. 5:30 your guys' time. You guys are all East Coasters. 5:30 you guys' time on Thursday. Okay? So if you want to do mobility, 5:30 Thursday. If not, I'll see you guys next time.
Okay, great. Thank you
Thanks,
very
Kevin.
much.
Later.
Bye, Kevin.
That's
Thanks.
good.